Lost in translation, right?
We're live.
Yeah, okay.
Hello world, it's Lee coming to you live from San Francisco for Beach City, and I'm sitting here with Nate Allen from Waterstart out of Nevada. How are you, Nate?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, right?
Pleasure, and it's good that we could connect. So there's a bit of a story about how this all came about, and you flew out from Las Vegas this morning, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Roman Galikov from Red Eye,
Who we just interviewed,
right?
Yeah.
Saw you guys were out here,
Yep.
and said, "Hey, there's a delegation here. You want to go out and meet up with them, right?" And it's great timing. We've got a lot of exciting new partnerships going on between waterstart and folks in Queensland and generally in Nevada, between Nevada and Queensland, right?
Yeah, so we'll get to that and we'll have a chat about that. But just tell us about Waterstart. What is Waterstart?
So we're a non-for-profit focused on accelerating the adoption of new water technology.
Right.
And it's a bit of a mouthful because, you say you're a tech incubator and accelerator, and expectations come with that.
Yep.
And
Perceptions come with that?
yeah, of course, right? And a lot of that is good, but we function a little different than a normal tech accelerator. Our focus is helping to accelerate innovation within large water management agencies and large water consumers. That's our first priority.
Right.
And kind of as a byproduct, tech companies get opportunities out of that in order to grow themselves, right?
Yeah, right, okay. And so how does it work? What makes it unique about your approach?
Well, the first thing is what we've done is we've brought together some of the largest water management agencies and largest water consumers, certainly in the state of Nevada. Many of them are the largest in the United States. Southern Nevada Water Authority is the 5th largest drinking water utility in the U.S. They're a key member of ours. MGM Resorts is one of the largest hotel companies in the world, right? They're a member of ours. We have one of the largest potato producers in the world that's also a member, right? Okay. And our model really is to just bring those folks together to try and coordinate what they need that they can't find, right? And so the first thing that we do is identify priorities of where we need new technology in order to come in and help the management and supply of water.
Right. Okay, so when we're talking about water management, I mean, you mentioned in the talk earlier on that we're in a 17-year drought, or we could say we've got a problem with climate change.
Right. I mean, 17 years, I don't know if that's a temporary change. I mean, drought typically is anything less than the norm. I mean, after 17 years, I think it could be argued there's a different norm now, right?
Yeah. So I guess, a little bit of history. I'm having a bit of history recall from my school days, around the Hoover Dam and that it was built after the Great Depression to mobilise workforce and to create jobs. And it was obviously Hoover that created it, hence it was named after him. So it's a huge body of water and it's a massive structure and infrastructure. So can you just talk to us a little about that particular body of water?
Yeah, I mean, and I guess in context, right, I think it's the largest reservoir in all of the United States, right? And there's 4 states that share water directly from that reservoir. There's 7 that use water from the Colorado River that feeds the reservoir. But between the 4 states that pull water directly from Lake Mead, Nevada gets the smallest share. Right. So just 6%.
Really?
Even though it's just next door. And a lot of that's just, historically, the time they were building it, no one lived in Nevada, right? Nevada is still, population-wise, the smallest of the states that share the resource, right? But even today, how the water is allocated is still based on those historical demands. And so, Hoover Dam primarily was built to support agriculture in California.
Right, okay.
And still the majority of water from that reservoir goes to those kinds of applications, not to, the Bellagio fountain on the Strip, as it's often portrayed in the media, right?
So we need to say water's more important than just to supply the Bellagio fountain.
Absolutely, right? And just for some perspective, About 11% of the total fresh water in the state of Nevada goes to the city of Las Vegas. Okay,
Right.
3% of that 11% supplies the Las Vegas Strip,
Right.
which generates about 75% of the state's GDP.
Right.
So it's not a bad ROI
Right.
on kind of economy per gallon of water, but just as compared to all of that is only 6% of the total Lake Mead allocations.
Yeah.
2 years ago when the drought was super extreme in California, despite us getting the smallest share, we were able to loan LA $40 million worth of reserves that we had stored in the water. So, we've had to be, out of necessity, really progressive, forward thinking in how we manage our water, and it's enabled what's now growing into an ecosystem that's really hungry for innovation and ready to not just come up with great ideas, but install things, try it out, and prove the value proposition of it.
So, I mean, can we just touch on I suppose the broader global water problem? I mean, we need water to survive. Like, what is that? What's the stark reality that we're facing with that?
It's a bit scary, right?
Right.
And I think, there's plenty of places you can go to learn what it looks like from place to place, right? But basically it comes down to that, resources are in the decline, and demand is on the increase, right?
Yeah.
And one of the cruxes that we focus a lot on is this dynamic between how water is paid for and what the mechanisms are to conserve it. There's a conflict in the typical economic model that our utilities are structured around, where there's this clash between utilities get their income from selling water, but in order to preserve the resource, they have to conserve it. And so they're put into a position where they're required to reduce their own revenue and somehow stay solvent, right? And it's kind of a trick, I mean,
kind of a trick. Yeah, it's like it's bizarre.
It's shocking, right?
Yeah.
And so again, in Vegas, in LA and Reno and other places around the Western United States have done similar things where, Vegas, we've reduced water consumption as a community by almost 40%, while at the same time doubling our population.
Wow.
Right? And have not gone bankrupt in that switch, right? And so, the way we've done that is by innovating and optimizing how we run the infrastructure. Right?
Yeah.
And, technologies like Red Eye is a great example of something many people wouldn't really think of as a water technology. Right? Usually you think water tech is like filters, pumps.
I wouldn't have, no.
Right?
I think Red Eye, engineering, mining, construction, that type.
Totally, right? But, you think about a utility that has drawings that, relate to like when the Hoover Dam was built, all the way to, this year we're finishing a $3 billion new intake that will pull water from deeper level in the lake.
Wow.
Right? And there's a digital twin of that. Right, 3D.
Right.
And all of that, has to be managed. And people have to keep track of that in order to effectively maintain, plan, inspect, do work on all of that infrastructure.
Yeah.
And so if you can reduce the cost of all that work by making it easier to find drawings so that it's easier to operate the infrastructure, that reduces the cost of that, giving the utility room financially to conserve and preserve the resource, right?
Yeah, that's cool. So, I mean, that's fantastic, and that's fantastic that Red Eye, an Australian company, have had taken that innovation and partnered with you, and now it's actually having an impact. So, can you give us, just to sort of finish up, one piece of innovation aside from that Red Eye that sort of blew your mind and went, wow, this is sort of something that's really exciting?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, right?
Okay, so give me a couple then.
Yeah, so one of them that is kind of a typical water tech that you would expect is we found this Israeli technology that manages nitrate levels in groundwater without creating a waste stream, which is a big deal.
Right.
Okay, because communities that rely heavily on groundwater are often remote. They don't have surface water assets, and this goes back to the economics of water.
Yeah.
When you pull something out of water, it doesn't just disappear, right? So oftentimes treatment systems create a brine or a cake, right?
Right.
Which, because of its concentration, are regulated as toxic. And you have to pay a lot of money to haul those to a certified disposal location, which in a small state in a population-wise small state like Nevada, we have to often send out of state. Super expensive for utilities.
Right.
So we found this company called Well-To-Do, which uses a catalyst to convert the nitrate to nitrogen, so it can just be off-gassed.
Wow.
Fascinating, right?
That's
and
cool.
Game changer.
Yep.
Something that you could do before. There's plenty of technologies that remove nitrates, but doing it without a waste stream that you have to be paid to dispose of is a big deal.
Yeah, that's
right?
fantastic.
Other technologies that I think are really exciting. We have a tech that we recruited from the UK called Serenix, and they don't just find the leaks, they find the pressure transients, which is like a shock wave that runs down the pipe, shakes the pipe, and causes leaks, right?
Right.
And all of us, again, think about, we don't want leaks, that's a waste, right, of water, which is absolutely true.
Yeah.
But from that economic standpoint, the big cost associated with leaks is asphalt.
Right.
Right? Because every time you have a leak, you have to tear up the street, excavate the pipe.
Oh, okay.
Fixing the pipe is actually pretty cheap.
Right.
Right? But rebuilding the road every time you do that is super expensive.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We've used that system in certain zones to reduce those shockwaves by 50%.
Right.
Right? Which, over just a couple of months, which now we're watching over time, how much is that going to impact the asphalt budget?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Which again goes back into helping this operate more efficiently, right? And so, anyway, there's
tons. We can
tons of those things, right?
So
We've done almost 20 pilots in the last 3 years,
right.
And 11 of those have been successful, and those companies are now setting up shop with us in Nevada as their foothold into the U.S. for the first time.
Well, that's fantastic. So you're looking, anyone that's working in and around that water space, technology-wise, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, so our website is a great resource, not to just learn about us, but to see what the opportunity is, right? So right now we have a call for proposals that's open, okay, for tech companies.
Yep.
And it's a quick 3-page pitch, right? Who you are, what you do, how you do it, right? Those kinds of basic questions. And it's attached to a priority list. So we have priorities from a list of about 60 priorities from our members in commercial buildings, drinking water, wastewater, et cetera.
Right.
And I think we've got maybe 12 priorities that we're looking for this round.
Okay.
And so
and they're there
and they're posted on the website. So waterstart.com.
Yep.
Super easy to find. On the home banner, you'll see the tech priorities, the whole list of 60 or so.
Yep.
And then you can find the application if you meet some of those things that are out that we're looking for solutions now, right?
Yep.
That's a great way to get involved. If you're interested in piloting technologies or help, we're also looking for channel partners, right? And what I mean by that is folks established in the industry that can help the companies post-pilot. So by getting involved and working with us on supporting pilots, how can you use that? Groups could use that as a due diligence tool, right?
Yep.
One of our tech companies is now coordinating sales with AT&T, right? Because AT&T wants needs a reason to attach a cell phone to a pipe. And so they need a technology that can use a cell phone to provide a service. Right? So we're looking for channel partners where we could leverage the pilots that are proving out the value proposition in order to then help those larger industry companies help get the technologies to the next step after we prove the value proposition.
Wow. All right, so if you want to know more, go to waterstart.com.
That's it.
And Nate, thanks for talking with us. Are you flying back to Vegas now?
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah,
thanks, right? And then I'll be in Brisbane in May.
Oh, well,
so we should get together again, right?
We should definitely get together again in Brisbane in May.
Yeah,
all right.
Good.
Good stuff. Thanks
a lot.
Nate. Yeah, cheers.